Good morning, welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Monday again. It is Monday, October the 27th, the last week in October of 2025. We're here to look at the new releases that were published this week, are being published this week, and on Mondays we look at cozy mysteries. We start out light and fluffy. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Mondays. Our next sprints are tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. We do them every Tuesday and Thursday evening and Saturday afternoons. Hope you had a good weekend. Mine was okay. My haircut got canceled for a family reason, so I'm gonna have to live with my bangs for a little bit longer. Not a problem. Alright, first up, Ellery Adams has a new one, The Tattered Cover, 8th in A Secret Book and Scone Society. As the residents of Miracle Springs, North Carolina, select their costumes, plan parties, and get excited for a night of tricks or treats, Nora joins in on the festivities by hosting medium memoirist Lara Luz at the bookstore. Charismatic and compelling, Lara mesmerizes the audience with her life story. Struck by a bolt of lightning as a child, she was pronounced dead only to be resurrected with the ability to connect with those on the other side. Lara performs a reading for a select group of bookstore patrons when the encroaching storm knocks out the power. In the sudden darkness, howling cold winds intensify, and Lara clutches her heart, collapsing dead without warning. But Nora doesn't believe she died of natural causes. Not one member of the psychics reading group, which includes the town's widower pharmacist, an urgent care nurse, a mystery author, and even truculent Deputy Hollowell were admirers of Lara. Nora confirms this when she stumbles upon Lara's journal in the aftermath of her death, but within its leathery bound pages are the medium and her client's deepest, darkest secrets, written in code. Now Nora and the Secret Book and Scone Society must sift through the suspects and their motives to uncover which one of them is a killer before he or she is tempted to strike again. Or, you could leave it to the police. Lauren Berenson has a new one. Good morning, Mary. Happy Monday. Had a good weekend. Good. Everyone, 2 necklaces, one with beads you gave me. Thank you very much. Awesome. That makes me happy. This is Die Another Day. We must be in the 20-somethings in the number of books in this series, but it does not indicate which number. After seeing a Great Dane at a dog show, Melanie's younger son Kevin has become obsessed with the giant breed. Some kids get into dinosaurs. For Kevin, it's Great Danes. Aunt Peg introduces Melanie and her son to Audrey Kane, a charming older woman who breeds and shows the big dogs. Aware of Melanie's talent for sleuthing, Audrey asks for help in finding a missing brooch. She suspects her stepsister Lara. Ooh, we have Lara syndrome today. Sam and Melanie are showing their standard poodle puppy Plum at a dog show where Lara will also be exhibiting her Great Dane. Melanie makes contact with Lara but gets no answers. When Audrey is found dead in her home, Aunt Peg enlists the help of the local Great Dane Club to foster Audrey's 10 dogs, one of whom Melanie takes on. To her surprise, Lara comes to her and asks her to solve her stepsister's murder. From the president of the Great Dane Club to Audrey's dependable dog sitter and not ruling out Lara herself, Melanie soon has more suspects than Audrey had Great Danes. With Aunt Peg's assistance, she doggedly pursues the killer. Mary says, when I put a dash in a sentence, often the word after it changes to whatever it wants, not the word you type. Crazy and maddening makes the sentence not make any sense. That's okay. And make a note, people on Saturday were noticing that YouTube had changed their name. I don't know if it logged you into a different account or just arbitrarily changed your name. They added numbers to the end, so I don't know if that affects your YouTube experience. Hi, Ellen. Good afternoon. How is it over there? How's your afternoon? Killer Commission by Catherine Bruns, 7th in the Cindy York Mysteries. With a hectic summer, real estate agent Cindy York is ready to relax and enjoy the autumn season with her family. She's especially looking forward to a second honeymoon vacation with her husband to celebrate their silver anniversary. But business must come before pleasure. When Cindy sends agent Olivia Lamphere in her place to show a house and the woman turns up dead, she promises her husband to stay out of the investigation. Right. After another agent Cindy knows is murdered, she's forced to break that promise. What is the connection between the two women, and why is she receiving threatening notes as well? Can Cindy discover who's making the deadly deals before she winds up the next victim? Colleen Cambridge has a new one in her Phillida Bright series. This is book number 5. He says, yes, I now have numbers after my name. Hi, Helen. Hope you're feeling sprightly today. 2 Truths and a Murder. While her famous employer is happily back home at Mallowan Hall, wrestling with her Belgian detective's dilemma on board the Orient Express, Phillida is finding her local renown as a sleuth has put her in high demand. A distraught Vera Rollingbrook suspects her husband of infidelity and has invited Phillida to a dinner party to observe his behavior, particularly in regard to one Ginevra Blastwick. What she does observe at the party is that Ginevra craves attention in contrast to her shy sister Ethel. Ginevra introduces a game called 2 Truths and a Lie, and one of her questionable statements is that she once witnessed a murder. At this bold claim, never do that, they kill you. At this bold claim, the guests react with disbelief and pepper her with questions. Ginevra remains cagey, withholding details, but insists this is not her lie. The next morning, Phillida learns poor Ethel was purposely run down by a motor car the previous night while inexplicably walking home alone from the party. She fears Ginevra may have been the target, which means someone at the party is a killer twice over. A chilling thought. With Ginevra in potential danger and Inspector Cork proceeding ponderously as usual, Phillida takes it upon herself to unmask the killer. With 2 murders to solve, she will need to grill Ginevra and the guests, as well as re-examine any past sudden deaths or disappearances. And if she's smart, she'll look twice before crossing the road. Poor Ethel. End of row 1. Excuse me, my cough is lingering. Kathy Daly has a new one, 36th in the Inn at Holiday Bay. This is Trouble in the Turkey Truck. I hate it when that happens. After a heartbreaking loss, Abby Sullivan never imagined she'd find solace in a quaint seaside inn in Holiday Bay, Maine. Blah, blah, blah. In this book, Abby joins Mackenzie Cole, niece of her boyfriend Colt Wilder, and Colt's father, Hank, for the town's first ever Holiday Bay Turkey Olympics. The trio arrives early to get settled, only to discover something far more surprising than turkeys inside the turkey truck. As the Holiday Bay family prepares for the season's first snowfall, familiar faces are navigating their own challenges. Georgia is overwhelmed by the pressure of choosing a name for baby Peyton. But Peyton is already named Peyton. Hazel's mysterious cough has everyone concerned. Anna is adjusting to her new life at the inn with cautious optimism, and Lacey is struggling with mixed emotions after letting her triplets travel for the Thanksgiving holiday. Full of heart, humor, and seasonal charm, blah, blah, blah. But apparently there's a body in the turkey truck that kind of got lost in the shuffle. Sophie Hannah has a new one in the estate of Agatha Christie. This is 6th in her Hercule Poirot new mysteries. This is called The Last Death of the Year. New Year's Eve, 1932. Hercule Poirot and Inspector Edward Catchpool arrive on the tiny Greek island of Lamperos to celebrate the holiday with what turns out to be a rather odd community of locals living in a dilapidated house. A dark sense of foreboding overshadows the beautiful island getaway when the guests play a New Year's resolutions game after dinner, and one written resolution gleefully threatens to perform the last and first death of the year. Hours later, one of the home's residents is found dead on the terrace. In light of the shocking murder, Poirot reveals to Catchpool the real reason he's brought him to the island. The life of another community member has been threatened. Now both men resolve to ensure that the first murder will be the last. A Season for Spies. It's a prequel. In the Lane Winslow series. This is by Iona Wishaw. I've always liked the name Iona. My mom's middle name is Ione. I thought that's very unique. I think, and it's not a family name. I don't know why my grandmother chose that as a middle name for my mom. Just must have liked it in the 30s. In wartime England, Lane Winslow has been pulled out of her studies at Oxford and spends her days in London translating for the War Office. Things are grim and looks like no one is going home for Christmas. That is, not until Lane's commanding officer orders her to drop everything to do just that. He's loath to send a woman, but a very important agent needs an escort into the country from an isolated cove in Scotland in just a few days, and Lane's family connections in the north are the perfect cover for this mission of utmost secrecy. On rails, wheels, and snowshoes, Lane makes her way up the country through the thick snows, navigating inquiries from old friends, distrustful townspeople, and dangerous interference on her race against time. Resourceful, but still untested, Lane will have to use all of her wits to make it out of her mission unscathed. Meanwhile, Lane's grandparents are delighted by the news that she'll be up for the holidays, but their cheery preparations are interrupted by clues suggesting a mysterious visitor has dropped right down into the forest outside their cottage. They might have a British airman wandering around in danger, or someone much more sinister lurking in the woods. And then Burbage. Rosemary Simpson has a new one in her Gilded Age Mysteries. This is book number 10, In Deadly Fashion. Mary says, I love that name too. You sure don't hear it every day like so many names. Indeed. Yeah, my mom was named after her mother, Catherine. But her middle name was Ione. Is Ione. August 1891. Prudence has her heart set on wearing her mother's wedding gown on the happy day, but she soon discovers the material has deteriorated so badly that it cannot be refurbished. With time running out, she decides to seek out a new American designer, a woman who trained in the House of Worth, the makers of the original dress in Paris, who now has a shop in New York City. The gown is nearly complete when the expert seamstress overseeing the project is found dead in the studio with Prudence's wedding dress slashed to ribbons and scattered over the body. The murder incites a scandal as client after client deserts the now struggling designer. Now not only must Prudence find the murderer, she must rescue the talented young couturier's reputation, all while another gown is being hastily sewn. The police suspect the seamstress's disgruntled lover. Prudence wonders about other designers competing in the cutthroat world of high fashion. But when additional wedding plans start to go awry, it's clear there is an elaborate campaign of sabotage and that either Prudence or Geoffrey, or both, are being targeted. Once again, they must work as a team to expose whoever's determined to ruin their lives before the future they've so long dreamed of is left in tatters. End of that row. And my middle name is Kay, which is after my mother, Catherine, and my grandmother, Catherine. At Death's Door by Mindy Quigley, 5th in the Deep Dish Mysteries. It's February in the ritzy lakeside resort town of Geneva Bay, Wisconsin, and love is in the air. Pizza chef Delilah O'Leary is gearing up to celebrate her first Valentine's Day with hunky police detective Calvin Capone, great-grandson of the infamous Chicago mobster. But their romance is put on ice when a shocking discovery plunges them into a century-old crime with ties to Capone's notorious forefather. As old secrets surface, Delilah realizes that nearly everyone in town, from Capone's cagey cousin to her own quirky customers, has something to hide. With the pressure mounting and the pass closing in, Delilah must help Capone follow a trail of clues that could lead them to a priceless treasure or into a deadly trap. Can Delilah serve up justice before history repeats itself, or will she and Capone end up sleeping with the anchovies? I would think that is a dangerous series to read because you just want pizza all the time, just like the 2 cheese ones. Mary says, I've always wondered about your K. Good to know. Thank you. Yes, it's K-A-Y. Because I thought Patricia Catherine Uslickson was too much of a mouthful, so it got shortened to K. Death by Java by Alex Erickson, 14th in the bookstore Cafe Mysteries. When she arrives in her hometown, the owner of Death by Coffee is startled to see a store called Death by Java. She soon realizes the name belongs to a copycat business run by her mean girl high school rival, Valerie. She would be, wouldn't she? It may not be the grounds for a lawsuit, but when they stop in and witness a bitter argument with a health inspector, the whole scene leaves a bad taste in Chrissy's mouth. Valerie has even imitated Death by Coffee's resident feline, except this one is a hissing stray, of course, who's more likely to terrorize customers than delight them. Despite her irritation, Chrissy finds herself trying to help the helpless Valerie, but her old classmate needs a different kind of help when the health inspector is found dead on the premises. As Chrissy's boyfriend cozies up to local law enforcement, she collects a carafe of clues, drip by drip. That doesn't quite work, but... Christina Romerill has a new one, 3rd in the Killer Chocolate Mysteries. Oh yes, Deck the Halls with Homicide. Alex and Hannah, owners of Murder and Mayhem Book and Chocolate Shop, are hoping for a quiet holiday. That is, after Alex is finished judging the Deck the Halls contest organized by Vanessa, nicknamed the Dragon. The whole experience has turned Alex's usual festive spirit a little grinchy. Instead of inspiring holiday cheer with fun lawn displays, the contest has turned cutthroat and decorations have started disappearing. After Alex's beau Tom is seen in a heated argument with the dragon about his stolen trimmings, Alex finds him dressed as Santa kneeling over Vanessa's dead body with one of his missing candy cane decorations buried in her chest. Now those things really aren't that sturdy. That would have to be pretty darn difficult to kill somebody with. It's no surprise he becomes the sheriff's top suspect. Alex and Hannah quickly amass a cast of suspects deeper than Santa's reindeer roster, including an old family friend tasked by their mother with romantic interference, a nosy reporter eager to reveal Alex's previous murdery exploits, and the victim's psychologist to the star's husband with a spicy secret. But as they try to catch a crafty killer, Alex also grapples with the escalating wrath of Tom's daughter and a mysterious psychic dropping cryptic clues, while Hannah deals with her own Christmas crisis. Murder puts a bitter spin on the twins' sweet confections, and they must find the killer and wrap up the case to keep Santa off the naughty list. Murder by the Millions by Daryl Wood Gerber. If it were true that the best thing a girl can be in this world is a fool, the best thing, then Alley Cat would be out of luck. Fortunately, Allie's business is a smashing success, and following her Pride and Prejudice event, grander plans await. What is she? North Carolina caterer and personal chef. Okay. Feast for the Eyes bookstore manager and Allie's best friend Tegan is hosting a book club soiree and wants it to be a glittering affair based on F. Scott Fitzgerald's iconic jazz age set novel The Great Gatsby. Soon Art Deco table settings and visions of flappers are dancing the Charleston in their heads. Even Tegan's prickly sister Vanna is on board, and surely Allie's tuxedo cat Darcy thinks it's the cat's meow. Amid the planning, charismatic developer Jason Gardner arrives in town to buy some historic buildings on Main Street. He too has plans to create a modern mall. They're dying. Allie is more than concerned. She even wants to protest. But when Jason invites her to cater a lavish party, she finds him surprisingly likable. Then she's summoned to his estate for a meeting and finds him dead. Once again, Allie's landed in the middle of a crime scene. Worse, one of her earrings is later discovered near the body. And when police learn she was upset about them all, she's suspect number one. Allie's blossoming sleuthing skills once cleared Tegan's name, but can she save herself before a killer writes her a not-so-great Gatsby-esque ending? We have time for one more. Sugar and Spite by Carol J. Perry, 15th in the Witch City Mysteries. Casa del Chocolate is one of Salem's most charming boutique candy shops, making it a perfect profile story. Although preoccupied with her own personal sweet news, Lee and her detective husband Pete Mondello are expecting a bundle of joy. She cheerfully agrees to interview the chocolatier. Since becoming pregnant, the radiant and exhilarated mother-to-be has discovered she is finally free of the unwanted hunting visions she has endured since childhood. Shirley Parker inherited Casa del Chocolate, housed in her beautiful ancestral home on the waterfront, continuing her family's sweet tradition of conjuring magical treats for the folks of Salem. Mesmerized by the delightful chocolate-scented aromas filling the air while touring the kitchen, Lee is shocked when she stumbles upon the murdered body of Barney Bingham, as Shirley's estranged husband. As the police focus their suspicions on Shirley, Lee learns that many people had reasons for wanting Barney dead. Now, with help from Pete, tarot reader River North, and clairvoyant gentleman Cat O'Ryan, as well as some feline friends, Lee must unmask the true killer and hope with the sudden return of her troubling visions. ... Wow. Okay. Good thing that was the last one, because apparently my tongue is going blah, blah, blah. Everybody remember, we parked at Sugar and Spite. We have a few more. Might have to do drive-bys. Alrighty, so on Wednesday we'll be looking at the darker side. We'll be looking at crime fiction and thrillers. If there's time, we'll do some more of the cozies. I don't know how many of the crime fiction and thrillers there are yet. So, that is it for today. Hope you guys have a good Monday. Again, I don't have sprints tonight. Our next ones are Tuesday night, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Mary says, gosh, this morning's broadcast flew by like the week. We'll probably do Halloween on Friday. Hope everyone has a great day, and thanks as always for all the work you do and present this show. Well, thank you very much, Mary. Thank you so much for being here. You are a very good friend. Alrighty, have a good Monday. Be safe, read good books, and as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom. Have a good day, and God bless.